You are now tuned in to the Project 365 experience.
Let's go this way. When do you sign your first player? And how
So
was that?
it was a funny experience, to be honest, because I was working for the Guelph Nighthawks at the time.
Mhm.
And we had one game against the Edmonton Stingers at home, and I didn't travel with the team because I was the director of player personnel, but I wasn't like a lead assistant or anything with that team, so I didn't travel. And it was actually my birthday, like July 13th of 2021, and I was given the task of doing the scout for Edmonton, which is something that I'd been begging them to let me do. Like,
Yeah.
I did my shit, like let me do the scout.
Yes.
Like, I lived in Edmonton, like I know these guys, it's the same players year over year, like let me try. And then it was like, oh, they finally gave me the opportunity on my birthday when I would love to go celebrate my birthday. But I spent all day making this scout, and largely the scout was to stop Xavier Moon.
Yeah.
Like, that was, at the time, the two-time MVP of the league. Like, they had just won, so it was like, how do we stop him? How do we make somebody else beat us? So the head coach and I came up with this very comprehensive plan on how we were going to stop him. It didn't work. We lost. He didn't. He had been setting like the record points though, like multiple game after game, like league
Yep.
record. He did not set a record against us, so to me that's a win.
Yep.
We did make the other players beat us, so
Yeah.
that was fine. And then I thought about it, like I had just gotten signed. I had known him previously anyway, mostly through like friends of friends because he played in the NBL before that, and I had a lot of friends that had played in that league. And I reached out to him, but I asked him, I was like, have you signed a contract for next year yet? Because to my knowledge, he'd never played anywhere, even like first division, which blew my mind because the first time I saw him play in Edmonton in like 2019, I was like, this guy's an NBA player. And
Yeah.
everybody told me I was nuts. They were like, he's like 6 foot, like he's way too
Yeah.
small, like it's never gonna happen. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened by now. At this point, he's like 26.
Yeah.
I looked up his current agent. I asked him who his agent was. I looked him up. He wasn't NBA certified. And I asked him, I was like, isn't your dream to play in the NBA? And he said, yeah. I was like, well, the agent that you have can never get you there.
Mm.
Said, interesting. I was like, can I see the contract? In the contract, there was a clause that said he could hire an NBA agent because that guy wasn't certified. He just had to know. So I was like, go tell your agent I'm going to represent you on the NBA side. He's like, honestly, like he had met me when I was doing door-to-door sales. So he was like, if somebody's going to get me into the G League, it's going to be you. So honestly, go for it.
Yeah.
So it took me like, I had gotten really sick actually right after our season ended. I don't know if it was COVID. I wasn't well enough to go to the
Yeah.
doctor to
Yeah.
find out. But I
Yeah.
spent the next 2 weeks in bed just dying with this flu, but I had nothing else to do but try and find the emails, the contacts to every single G League team. I had nothing else to do but cut the film of him playing against G League players like Lindell Wigington, like Cat Barber, and these guys that he had won those matchups. So I sent this out like a scouting report, film, everything to every single G League team. And I said, listen, you have these guys on your roster already. These guys are killing you in the G League. Why would you not want the person that just beat up on them all summer? And then at first, like the first couple teams got back to me. They're like, sorry, like too many returning players, blah, blah, whatever, already signed our E10s and that kind of thing. And then slowly I started getting some traction. Like, of course, they were like, who are you? And then once I kind of told them, like, I just passed, like, blah, 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 whatever. I'm Canadian, he's playing in Canada. I know him. It's all good. Talk to him if you don't believe me. They're like, you know what? Like, I think we'd give him a tryout. Like, if he's as good as you say he is, like, we'll give him a tryout. So he started getting interest from a lot of teams. We ended up with like half the G League interested in him, which is crazy because everybody told me it would never work. Nobody was interested in him. We've tried. Nobody wanted him. Like, clearly you didn't try that hard. So we literally narrowed it down to our top 3 teams, and he went to tryouts with them. We were positive that he was going to sign with another team. I had actually I flew out to go to that tryout with him because I thought that's who he was going to sign with. And as we're walking out of the tryout, this other team, who obviously ended up being the Clippers, called me and they're like, listen, we know you're walking out of that other tryout right now. What do we have to do to get him to commit to us right now? And it was crazy. It was like a movie moment. And, they didn't know we were together, like physically in the same place. So like I had them call me, listen to them. Then I had them call him and see if they told him the same thing. It was identical. So I was like, you know what? I believed them, and they stayed true to everything that they'd promised him, and that was the start of his G League NBA career.
Man, It must have been such a like you said, the feeling. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Like even like I can relate to that because even me, like so I do a lot of recruiting, right? And a lot of times it's just about when you can get kind of two people connected. To me, I feel so good about that. Like to me, that's my thing. I'm like, oh, I feel good. I'm able to kind of like bring these two people. I don't want anything from it. As long as these two people are able to like both achieve what they want to achieve, like I'm like, yo, I feel so good about that. So that must have been like a surreal moment. I can't imagine how it is. Like literally people told you give up and
Yeah,
you didn't.
people told me that it was a waste of time to sign him on a SPAC, which is like a contract with the NBA. Like it's
Mhm.
me, him, and the NBA. That's the contract. They're like, it's a waste of your time. Why even put in the paperwork? Like he's not even going to make the G League, let alone the
Yeah.
NBA. And if anybody knows anything about me, if you tell me I can't do it, I promise you I will, and it'll be a lot faster than you expected.
Yeah. For sure. Holy man. So how okay, so this is amazing. So you obviously this you have one player that now goes to all these things, right? So now I'm assuming now like your credibility starts going up. Now people are like, yo, you got somebody to the NBA, you got somebody to the G League. Yo, there's now
Oh,
more
yeah.
people. So you as an agent now, like how many people are you able to represent, if that makes sense? Like obviously there's the agency, but like how many people um can one person represent?
I think that's a different answer depending on the person and like how much time you have to invest in it.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I've purposely kept my roster very small, like as I'm starting out, as I'm building, because I want it to be like organic growth. I could probably have 40 clients right now if I wanted to.
Right.
I don't think that I personally, in this growth stage in my career, could take care of that many people in the way that I want to. So
Right.
I started with one. Once I got Xavier to the G League, I signed another guy. But it's all been natural. Like all of my clients have come to me from referral. And
Yes.
that's largely because of the job that I did with him. Because once he got to the G League, it was crazy. Like even my credibility with teams like skyrocketed. They were like, "We thought you were full of shit." Sending him like 6 foot, like 165-pound point guard. He was 26, which is like way older than most of the players in the G League at the time. And they're like, "But you were right." Like you were right. He took over the league, and 2 months later, we got his first 10-day contract. So now he went from supposed to play in a second division league in Europe to he's playing in the NBA. Like,
Insane.
so not only do like the younger players maybe of similar position or similar story, like he's a small town guy, maybe they resonate with that story, but the teams are also like, she's onto something.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.